Hello, and welcome to another episode of Latina Mic Drop with your girl, Miriam Simon. I am here 1 week post book launch, super excited and happy about all the good things that are coming. Thank you so much for everybody who has been able to tune in to the YouTube premiere. If you haven't, check it out. Also coming to you from New York, New Jersey area. I also wanted to announce that I am now the lead for Lean in Latinas, New York, New Jersey. So if you're looking to participate and come and be around a circle of leaders, of people who are influential in their areas, in their work, in their profession, please feel free to follow us on LinkedIn. And then from there, you can get your access to becoming a member, which is free. We are on a mission to help the wage gap that currently exists. And we want to make sure that all the Latinas and women in general have all the resources and tools they need to get to the next level. And of course, make more money, because at this point, there is a differential between what a man makes versus what a woman makes. The gap gets even bigger when you compare Latinas. We are going to dive into employee business resource groups. Employee business resource groups is actually how I got my start. I want to talk to you about it. I want to tell you the top 3 reasons, the top 3 secrets as to why you should join an employee business resource group and why it's so important. So today's episode is going to be nice and short. We're going to talk about what employee business resource groups are and what are 3 benefits that you can gain from participating in such groups. What is an employee business resource group? These used to be called affinity groups. Before, people would gather together within their organizations and create a group of people that were either like-minded in profession or came from a particular background and work together to figure out how they can get additional tools, additional resources, and how they can collaboratively work and make cultural events. An employee business resource group means they can work in conjunction with their organization, meaning they might create a development program or they might work within the organization on a project together. What are the top 3 benefits that you can gain from participating in an employee business resource group? Number 1, you can get information. What I always tell people is in the beginning, just get to know what the organization is about, right? Get to know what the employee business resource group features, right? Maybe they have an executive dinner. That was something that we did and I loved it. I had fun going to an executive dinner and getting to know an executive. Another part that we used to do were cultural events, right? For instance, my grandparents moved to Mexico and therefore I wasn't celebrating any Mexican events within my family because my mom doesn't celebrate any of that. So then I was thinking, like, where could I go celebrate this? So with the affinity group, I was able to do that. And with the Hispanic Society, I was able to do those kinds of events. So we would have like a Noche Buena event, which was actually a fundraiser. And in that fundraiser, we would be able to raise funds for book scholarships. And then every year, we were able to give out more and more money until we ended up giving out about 10 per year. A lot of times you think, well, why do I need information from an employee business resource group as opposed to directly from the organization? Well, sometimes what happens is that even when policies are rolled out, sometimes you don't get all the information that you need. And an employee business resource group is a way that you can connect with different people to understand different things about the organization. Sometimes the organization works with the employee business resource group to create a focus group. You can find out if there's a new initiative coming out and actually they want you to participate as a volunteer, and you can be part of a focus group to give your input, give your feedback onto a new initiative that an organization may be rolling out in the next couple of months or the next couple of years, or may have something going on and they want you to participate as an employee and give them the feedback firsthand. information is key. Also, sometimes you can get firsthand newsletters in reference to things that are going on in the organization. You can get newsletters in reference to new career opportunities that are happening. You can also become familiar with different people, and that's how you get your information as well. Because the ERGs, right, they foster a sense of belonging and community, leading to high morale and reduced turnover, and especially among underrepresented employees or groups. So this is another way you can feel like you belong, and you can either speak your language or you can participate in cultural and traditional events that normally you would have done with your family, but now you can do it with other people within your organization. The second highlight of participating in an employee business resource group is the leadership development opportunities. This part is highly critical for those that maybe have leadership skills or are looking to gain leadership skills, but have not been able to actually have a position where they can be a leader. For me, in the very beginning, back 12 years ago, I just wanted to become a member and get some information. But then I quickly realized, oh, I can lead this organization. And I became the vice president of the organization. And it was an easy way for me to have a leadership position quickly and right away. And I was able to, through this leadership position, speak to other leaders within the organization and get to know them on a different level. And I was able to also present to the executive director even before I had to do it in my regular job. So the good thing was that this really did provide me the network and gave me the proximity that I needed to be able to see how senior executives worked within my organization and also participate in a leadership role before I actually had a job with a leadership function. And this was awesome for me because other people were able to see me outside of the current title that I had, which was not seen as a leader. I didn't have the availability to do leadership things only because the job didn't call for it. By participating in an employee business resource group, I was able to gain that knowledge. And therefore, it's a great opportunity for you to be able to get into a leadership role. And as long as you're over delivering, under promising and over delivering, you will be seen as a leader and you will be able to collaborate. And you will also learn how leadership works and what goes well and what doesn't, like what works and what doesn't work. So it gives you the visibility and it develops your leadership skills. And this is a way that you can take on stretch roles that prepare you for future advancement. So that was 100% what happened to me. Me being vice president and being able to show up during the pandemic was a critical time where I was able to demonstrate my leadership skills. And that led to other positions, and then it led to 2 more promotions, right? And so it doesn't always happen to everybody that becomes a leader, but it is a great opportunity. And that is that kind of emergency lane that I talk about in my book, where you can go through a different avenue to leadership. And the employee business resource group is one way to get there. And the other third thing that I'll talk about is it gives you a different way of looking at business strategy, because EBRGs provide invaluable insights into customer demographics and cultural trends, supporting innovation and market growth. So what happens here is that because you come from a different lens, because you see things differently, you're able to bring in a new perspective to the organization that sometimes they don't see or they don't have within their circle, because they just don't have that cultural competency that many of the employee business resource groups have. And that's another way that a company can gain business strategy and also be able to gain the competitive advantage, because most of the times you represent the community that they serve. And so therefore, you participating in an employee business resource group, you have quick access to some of the business strategies that are coming. You're able to participate and you're able to help and you're able to work in that area. It is really critical that you come and you participate in the employee business resource groups to give you that business strategy piece. And working with them, you can give them firsthand recommendations because you have that proximity. A lot of times, I think what people don't understand or underestimate is the power that employee business resource groups have and the voice that you can translate or give more of to those organizational leaders, because you bring in a firsthand perspective, kind of like you're closer to the culture or closer to the front lines or you're closer to everything else that's going on within the organization. And many people will come and talk to you differently than they would talk to the organization itself. So sometimes you may find out things that are happening before the organization does, or you can foresee that these things are happening or that something is going left or that something really isn't working, or you can see how maybe you can improve it. And this is a best practice to be able to have employee business resource groups to help organizations work through those challenges and work through those misconceptions, work through communication barriers, work through challenges that are happening within their organization. The top three are information. It's always important to have as much information as possible. And why not get it from your employee business resource groups? Number two, the leadership development opportunities are immense. And sometimes the only way to get into a leadership position before you can get it in your regular job. And I can tell you that that visibility you get from being a leader in an employee business resource group is invaluable, and it really does help you connect what you do, your impact, and how you lead is very determined during that time when you are an employee business resource group leader. And therefore, you have that partnership with the organization, and it's easier for you to transition into a leadership role. And then lastly, being able to provide a different perspective for business strategy within the organization. So you can quickly pick up on different trends that are happening within the organization, support innovation. So, how do you support innovation? You support innovation by saying, hey, maybe we haven't done it this way, but this is something that may work. Or maybe you haven't thought about this, but this is something you can think about, right? And sometimes that comes just from the cultural competency. And sometimes it just may be a different way that you can bring into the organization that will help support innovation and overall organizational growth. So I hope that you love this podcast. It was very short this time, and I'm very happy and excited that I was able to bring this episode to you about employee business resource groups. I just wanted to give you some top 3 reasons why you should join them and why you should continue to work in them, because the employee business resource groups are very important no matter what, because we all need information. We all want an opportunity to grow as a person. And sometimes it is through leadership, sometimes it isn't, but many times it can be if that's what you're looking for. And who isn't looking to have a better place at their workplace? Everybody wants to be able to contribute to something, and this is a good way to do it. And organizations now are more willing to listen to their employees. So why not participate in an employee business resource group if this is a way that you can have a voice and you can share your voice, not only for you, but for others too. I really am happy that we were able to bring this episode to you, and let me know how the employee business resource groups have helped you, and talk to you next time.